to turn onto our belly, please. And for the belly, you might want to use a little roll or a little pillow for your forehead. And this is really just if you feel like you can't breathe, if your nose is feeling crushed or something. Because we're going to start out with a little shoulder work first, and then we're going to come into our extension. Make sure your toes are tucked under to engage our legs. If the toes are pointed, it's usually the back chain goes a little bit dormant. Tucking the toes will assist us. We want the buttocks and the hamstrings to work. I'm going to put my microphone more here. Let's see if that's good. Bring both hands on either side of your rib cage. Sorry, your arms on either side of your rib cage with your tucked toes. Your pelvis is heavy. If you feel your butt is sticking up in the air, put a pillow underneath your pelvis just to have that firm connection of the pubic bone and the hip bones. Take a nice breath, and then we're going to take the shoulder blades and squeeze them together. Just a little squeeze. The upper arm bones lift away from the floor. Your fingertips, your hands are still on the mat. And then let that release. We've done it in our cat and cow spine at the fairly beginning. Squeeze the shoulders together. Pull the toes down into the floor. Turn on your buttocks a little bit. And then let that release. Since we're talking here to the posterior shoulder, back shoulder, it's kind of conducive to talk a little bit, lift it again, to the posterior chain of the glutes and the hamstrings. And that pulling down of the toes, the lifting of the kidneys is going to help with that. Let it release. That should feel actually really good. Last one, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Breathing, keep the kidneys lifted, belly is on. Maybe lift your toes a little bit off the floor, and then maybe lift your fingernails a little bit off the floor. Breathing here, and then there's a little hover maybe in your forehead. Breathing, so this is almost a neutral. It's a tiny extension, but it's very, very small. Slowly lower everything down. Bend both elbows, put both hands on either side of your rib cage. Squeeze your elbows really close to your spine, close to your rib cage. We don't want wide elbows here. That's going to really internally rotate our shoulder. We want to squeeze them in and open the shoulder up. Really wide fingers again. The hand is very big. Toes are tucked under. I'm going to squeeze my shoulders again together. And I'm going to lift my forehead up a little bit. Now, the idea is I am pulling myself to the front of my mat. You might feel that there's a little wiggle here. And that's what's going to help us for a little heart lift. Lift the kidneys. Belly is really on, and then lift the chin. Tiny bit. You might look at the end of the mat or the front of your mat, and that's about it. And then lower your head down. Let the shoulders release. Extension done well is not big unless you are a hypermobile Cirque du Soleil performer. You're going to squeeze the shoulders together, lift your kidneys, belly is on, pull the toes down into the floor, work your glutes and hamstrings, and then lift the heart a little bit. Maybe lift the nose a little bit, but you're not looking really fully ahead to the wall on the other side of the room. Squeeze the shoulders. Lift your heart. Turn your head side to side. Really pick up the diaphragm. The low back is long and strong. Turn on your butt. If you need to pick up your toes, if your butt is still not on, we're going to pick up our toes. Full on back chain. And then slowly release. Take a little moment, maybe take your hands somewhere else, roll out your wrists. We'll do this one more time.